a lot of studies kind of point to the fact that polygynous males, which attempt to dominate other males and control groups of females, often leading to infanticide, was most likely the ancestral kind of condition. Okay, so infanticide, as we said, you can gain access to mates by disposing of the pups, bring females back into estrus, mate with them, and then you can pass on your genes. But evolutionary responses to infanticide, aside from guarding the young, is that females can counter this by actually becoming promiscuous. Okay, so that females can mate with multiple males. And this actually protects their young against male infanticide, because what it does is it can confuse males about their paternity. Okay, so they don't know whose baby is who. All right, so if they're not sure whether or not those babies are related to them, then they're less likely to kill them at all. And so female promiscuity has become an evolutionary response to male infanticide. Gets pretty interesting. Then a counter-evolutionary strategy that males have exhibited to that is that males start to guard mates, okay? And so male mate guarding can prevent female promiscuity, so she can't really go off and mate with somebody else if he spends his whole time guarding her. Okay, so as long as he's hanging around her all the time, he's exclusively mating with her. He often can even become more parental and care for the joined offspring that they have. And this has led to monogamy in the prairie vole. So this is this evolutionary history. And again, we can see that the genes that we talked about earlier that code for the receptors that cause vasopressin to bind, which gives him rewards, are part of this system that have become in place that all help to reinforce monogamy in the prairie vole. And so, again, all of the answers to the questions are true. They're not alternative answers, they're simultaneous answers. And so what we have in behavioral biology in general, in animal behavior, including the behavior of humans, are that there are several levels of analysis that we can use to explain behaviors that we see. When we ask, why does an animal exhibit certain behaviors, we have to answer it with the proximate causes of the behavior, those genetic factors, developmental mechanisms, effects of heredity on behavior, the sensory motor systems, meaning the nervous systems, okay, the hormonal systems, the skeletal musculature system, okay, and then the ultimate causes for the behavior, which includes both the historical pathway, the history of the species and how events occurred over evolution from the origin of the trait to the present, as well as the selective processes that shape the history of that trait. Now, it may not always be easy to distinguish these two, but basically, if you guys can get that we're talking about the evolutionary processes and causes of the behavior when we're talking about ultimate, and here we're talking about physiology, genes, and development when we're talking about the proximate causes of behavior. Okay, these are proximate. These are evolution is ultimate, then I'll be really happy. And we're going to be talking more about proximate and ultimate causation. And again, when we talk about why does this behavior occur, and we come up with answers, we have to make sure that we're distinguishing between whether we're giving a proximate answer or an ultimate answer. I want to apologize that this is a little blurry, but I just want to expand this idea to show how all of these things that influence the behavior that happen over time is that we have in the past, we have processes of natural selection, evolutionary history, species attributes, and then as we're moving along, the genetic makeup, how genes are influencing that behavior. And then we can bring in things in terms of the fetal environment, development, perinatal biology, hormones that can influence the behavior, neurobiology, and then environmental triggers. So all of these pieces over history or over the lifetime of an organism from development, including its past, act to influence what is this behavior that's being exhibited right now. And so you can see right away how complicated it is and how it's an oversimplification when we say, hey, it's just that gene that caused that behavior, or hey, it's just that hormone that caused that behavior, or hey, it's just that neuronal pathway that caused that behavior, or hey, it's just because those guys did it in the past. Notice how that's a simplification to say that any one of these things causes the behavior, that they all contribute to the behavior, and they all interact in very complicated ways. And that's what makes the study of animal behavior and human behavior so incredibly fascinating and also so difficult to actually study.